You ever wonder why it feels like you were born for something huge, but your bank account doesn't reflect it at all? Like deep down, you know you're destined for greatness, but you're stuck living paycheck to paycheck, constantly dodging bills, scraping by while others seem to thrive effortlessly. That's not laziness, it's not bad luck, and it's definitely not because you're not trying hard enough. Here's what no one's telling you. If you're struggling financially and you feel like you've always been different, you're not broken, you're chosen. Yeah, I said it, you are chosen. But chosen for what? To break patterns, to shift timelines, to live a life that defies logic. And that means your path was never meant to be normal. And because your path isn't normal, your struggles won't be either. See, most people are born into the world and immediately get plugged into the matrix. Go to school, get a job, climb the ladder, chase the dream. But you've always questioned things. You've always felt things others couldn't. You've had moments where your soul screamed, "This can't be it." And because of that awareness, you can't unsee the truth. You can't force yourself to chase after things your spirit doesn't align with. So while others build wealth by playing the game, you struggle. Not because you're not capable, but because you were never meant to play their game in the first place. You were meant to rewrite the rules. That's why your financial life feels like a battlefield. Every attempt to get ahead gets blocked. Every small win feels temporary. Just when you think you're making progress, boom, something hits. An unexpected expense, a lost job, a door slamming shut. But what if I told you none of that was random? What if your financial struggle isn't a curse, but a code? A signal that your life is being calibrated for something far greater than short-term success. You are being prepared, and preparation doesn't feel comfortable. You're not falling apart. You're being rebuilt. Now let's talk about the deeper trap, the illusion we're all sold from the moment we're born. We're taught that success equals status, that wealth means you've made it, that if you're broke, you must be doing something wrong. But what if that's the biggest lie ever told? What if your resistance to chasing money isn't laziness, but divine protection? Think about it. Most people can grind their way into success because they're numb. They follow the blueprint society hands them without ever questioning if it's true. They're asleep, but the system rewards them for staying that way. You're awake. And because you're awake, you can see the cracks in the system. You can feel when something doesn't sit right in your spirit. You know that selling your soul for a paycheck would kill a part of you that can't be resurrected. So you resist. Maybe not even consciously. But your body, your energy, your essence, it rejects anything that's out of alignment. That resistance costs you. You lose opportunities. You lose jobs. You lose people who say, "Why can't you just settle down like everyone else?" And all of that can make you feel like a failure. But the truth is, you're the only one seeing clearly. Your soul is allergic to the illusion. You were never meant to climb the ladder. You were meant to burn it down and build a new one. But that kind of calling comes with spiritual weight. It means walking away from quick fixes. It means having seasons of lack, not because you're undeserving, but because the universe is removing anything that would distract you from your real assignment. This isn't punishment. This is preparation for power. And the moment you stop trying to win in a system that was never designed for you is the moment everything changes. Let's go even deeper. Money isn't just paper. It's not just numbers on a screen. It's energy. Pure, concentrated energy. And as a chosen one, you don't interact with energy the way most people do. You feel it, you sense it, you absorb it, which means your relationship with money is spiritual, not transactional. Where others see a $20 bill, you feel the frequency behind it, the intentions, the weight, the energy of how it was earned, where it's going, what it represents. That's why you can't just go get a job and feel okay. You feel the misalignment, You know when something is off. You can't force your energy to comply with something your soul rejects. And that sensitivity is both your power and your current problem. Because until you learn how to regulate and direct that sensitivity, money will feel slippery, confusing, even repelling. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. It keeps slipping through your fingers. But here's the thing. You were never supposed to hold it the way they do. You were meant to channel it, guide it, call it in through intention, alignment, and resonance, not force, fear, or survival mode. That's why hustle culture burns you out. Why working 9 to 5 makes your soul ache. Why traditional business advice just doesn't land for you. Because you're not wired to chase, you're wired to attract. But attraction requires alignment, and most chosen ones spend the first part of their lives completely out of alignment with the energy of wealth. Why? Because the system teaches you to doubt your intuition, to silence your inner voice, to suppress the very gifts that would unlock your abundance. And now, after years of trying to fit in financially, your spirit is finally screaming, enough. This is the awakening. This is the moment you realize your money struggle isn't a personal failure. It's a spiritual redirection. Because once you stop chasing money the way others do and start aligning with your unique energy, everything changes. Wealth stops being a struggle. It starts being a side effect of you stepping fully into your power. And trust me, once you do that, you won't just have money, you'll have mastery. You ever feel like every time you get close to a breakthrough, something knocks you right back down? Like just when things start to feel stable, boom, a bill shows up, a job falls through, a betrayal, a delay, another closed door, and it feels like the universe is playing some kind of cruel game with your life. But what if I told you, you're not being blocked, you're being built? See, there's something you need to understand. Chosen ones aren't handed things the easy way, not because they're less deserving, but because they're being forged. And forging isn't pretty. It's pressure, it's fire, it's isolation. It's long nights wondering if you're crazy for even believing you're meant for more. But here's the raw truth. The fire is not there to destroy you. It's there to reveal you. And nothing reveals who you really are like financial struggle. When you can't pay your rent, you find out what kind of faith you really have. When your card gets declined and you're standing in line, sweating with embarrassment, you discover what shame you've been carrying, shame that was never even yours to begin with. Every time you face lack, it's like the universe is stripping away everything fake, everything performative, everything surface level, until all that's left is you, the real you, the one with purpose in your bones. And that version of you, that's who the universe wants to bless. Not the masked version, not the hustling to prove yourself version, but the authentic you, the one who's had everything taken and still stands. Think of it like this: you're not broke, you're in spiritual boot camp. And unlike regular training, this one's sacred. Because while others are learning how to survive within the system, you're being trained to transcend it. Every closed door is a test, not to punish you, but to prepare you for rooms you haven't even seen yet. You don't train a warrior the same way you train a civilian, and you don't hand a sword to someone who hasn't learned how to wield it. That's what your struggle is about, learning how to wield your power before the abundance comes. Because when it does, it won't be small, it'll be overwhelming. And if you haven't built the strength to carry it, it'll crush you. So these moments of not enough, they're not setbacks, they're spiritual gym reps, and you've been lifting more than most people can even see. But there's another layer to all of this, a deeper, darker one. Because your battle with money isn't just physical or emotional, it's spiritual. Have you ever felt like something invisible was blocking you? Like no matter how hard you work, something's just off? Let's get real. You're not crazy. That feeling is real. Because you're not just facing financial obstacles. You're in a spiritual war. And most people have no idea that money can be a battleground for energy, for legacy, and for destiny. But you do, because you feel it. There are forces, energies, patterns, systems, designed to keep you small, distracted, and disconnected from your true power. This isn't conspiracy. This is reality for chosen ones. From childhood, you may have been born into cycles of lack, raised in environments where scarcity was normal, even celebrated. Maybe you watched people you loved sacrifice their dreams just to survive. Maybe you were told things like, money is evil, people like us never get rich. Humility means having nothing. Those weren't just beliefs, they were programming. And those programs didn't start with your parents. They were passed down, spiritual patterns woven through bloodlines, invisible forces that said, you're not allowed to break free. But here you are, the disruptor, the chain breaker, the one who feels the weight of it all and still chooses to move differently. And make no mistake, your financial struggles aren't random. They're resistance. Because the moment you start stepping into your power, the moment you even think about claiming abundance on your own terms, that's when the war begins. But guess what? The enemy wouldn't be attacking you if you weren't a threat. So if you've been feeling like something unseen is pushing against you, it's because you're not just moving money. You're moving energy. You're shifting generations. You're waking up ancient patterns that were designed to remain asleep. That's why it feels heavy. That's why the attacks come when you're closest to breakthrough. That's why you feel watched, tested, resisted. But don't let it scare you. Because the moment you become aware of the battlefield, you stop being a victim and start becoming a weapon. You are not fighting alone. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are spiritually sensitive. And that is not a weakness. It's your greatest gift. That same sensitivity that makes you feel overwhelmed. That makes crowds too loud, fake conversations unbearable, and corporate life soul-sucking. That's your edge. You don't just see with your eyes. You feel what's hidden. You walk into a room and sense the vibe instantly. You know when someone's energy is off, even if they're smiling in your face. And here's the key. That same gift applies to money. Your empathy, your intuition, your emotional intelligence, they were never meant to make you poor. They were meant to make you powerful. It's just that no one taught you how to use them in the realm of finances. Because the world told you that to succeed, you have to be cold, ruthless, strategic, cutthroat. But that's not your path. Your path is one of alignment, of building wealth by feeling your way forward, not faking it until you break down. It might take longer. It might come with more tears. But when your wealth arrives, it'll be rooted in truth, and nothing can shake that. Here's what makes you dangerous in the best way. You don't just want money. You want meaning. You want purpose. You want impact. And that combination, that's unstoppable. So the next time someone makes you feel soft because you care, or weak because you feel too much, remember this. Your sensitivity is your superpower. It's what will allow you to build businesses that heal, create communities that matter, and attract abundance that actually fulfills you. You're not meant to shut it off. You're meant to master it. And when you do, everything changes. Because the chosen ones who learn to own their gifts become the ones who shift the world. $1, one decision, one divine alignment at a time. Have you ever looked around at your family, your community, maybe even your whole lineage, and realized you're nothing like them? Not in a judgmental way, not in a better than way, but in a deep, soul-level kind of knowing. You think differently. You question things they've just accepted. You dream bigger. You feel more. You believe in possibilities they stopped believing in long ago. And that difference, it can feel isolating, heavy, sometimes even guilt-inducing, like you're carrying the pressure of becoming something no one before you has ever been. But what if I told you that pressure isn't a burden? It's proof. Proof that you're the one chosen to break the pattern. Because every bloodline has one. One person who's born to interrupt the cycle. Poverty, trauma, scarcity, fear, playing small. That person is the black sheep, the rebel, the one who doesn't follow the family script, the one who gets told, "Why can't you just be more like insert relative's name?" The one who's seen as difficult or unrealistic or even crazy. But in reality, that person is the blueprint breaker. And if you're still watching this, chances are, it's you. Now let's get something clear. Being the cycle breaker isn't glamorous. It doesn't come with applause. It comes with resistance, rejection, doubt, from others and from yourself. Because you're not just trying to get ahead financially. You're trying to undo decades, maybe centuries, of scarcity that's been passed down like a family heirloom. And that kind of work, it's spiritual warfare on a whole different level. See, money struggles aren't always about you. Sometimes they're inherited, not just in behavior, but in energy. You were born into an ecosystem where survival mode was the default, where budgeting was survival, not strategy, where dreams got laughed at, where money doesn't grow on trees was repeated like scripture. And now, here you are, carrying the vision of wealth, impact, and abundance so foreign to your roots, it almost feels forbidden. But that's exactly why you're here. To rewrite the story. To shift the entire bloodline. You are not crazy for wanting more. You're not selfish. You're not asking for too much. You are remembering what was always possible. And that's dangerous to a system built on silence and sameness. Every financial challenge you face isn't just about your life. It's about breaking the ceiling for everyone who comes after you. You're not just building wealth, you're building legacy. But legacy starts with internal war, the battle between who you were taught to be and who you know you are. So when you doubt yourself, when it feels like you're carrying the weight of the world, when you want to give up, remember this. You are not behind, you're just going first. Now let's talk about the moment that changes everything. It's subtle, quiet. Most people miss it because they're too busy chasing what they were told to want. But for chosen ones, this moment is revolutionary. It's the moment you realize you're done playing their game. The game of grinding for approval. The game of performing for status. The game of chasing a dream that doesn't even belong to you. The system has always sold us a formula. Work hard, plus don't complain. Success. But what happens when you work hard and you're still broke? When you follow the rules, but they keep moving the goalposts? When you get to the top of their mountain and it's hollow? That's when the awakening hits. You start asking the real questions. What if wealth isn't about effort, but alignment? What if success isn't about doing more, but being more? What if you don't need to chase opportunities, because the ones meant for you are already being aligned by your energy? That's when you stop hustling and start harmonizing. You begin to feel the difference between force and flow. You realize that just because everyone else is doing it, doesn't mean it's for you. You turn inward. You slow down. You get still. And in that stillness, you remember your power. Because you were never meant to climb the ladder. You were meant to build the castle. The game was never designed for you to win. That's why it always felt off. That's why you could never fully commit to the hustle culture. That's why you always felt a sense of inner conflict, even when you were doing everything right. You weren't lazy. You were misaligned. And the moment you stop trying to prove your worth to a broken system is the moment you reclaim your energy, your time, your peace. That's when you begin to build something real, something sustainable, something sacred. You start asking yourself different questions. What lights me up? What impact do I want to leave behind? How can I create value that feels like truth? And you stop asking questions like, How do I get rich fast? How do I fit in? How do I beat the algorithm? Because once you shift into alignment, money becomes a byproduct, not a prize. Abundance begins to meet you, because you're finally walking in your authentic frequency. You attract different people, different opportunities, different resources. Doors start opening that you didn't even knock on, because the real you is the one the universe has been waiting to support. And suddenly, you're not chasing anything. You're just becoming everything you were always meant to be. No more pretending. No more performing. No more begging for crumbs from tables you were meant to flip over. This is the moment where you stop playing their game and start building your own kingdom. And this time, the rules are yours. You ever wonder why your life feels like it's been one long uphill climb, while others seem to float their way into success? Why your path is paved with pressure, delay, rejection, and struggle, even though you know you're meant for something big? Here's the truth you need to hear. Your struggle has never been random. It's been training. You've been in a long divine process, one you didn't sign up for consciously, but one your soul knew it needed. Because when you're chosen for a purpose that's greater than you, your life won't look like everyone else's. You don't get shortcuts. You don't get handouts. You don't get the easy route. You get refinement. Life strips you down, over and over, until there's nothing left but what's real. And what's real? Your character, your calling, your core truth. Every no was shaping your discernment. Every delay was strengthening your patience. Every betrayal was sharpening your intuition. Every financial hardship, it was spiritual weightlifting. You don't get muscles without resistance. You don't get power without pressure. You don't get wisdom without walking through fire. That fire you've been in, where nothing seemed to work, where doors kept slamming, where your bank account was empty, and your hope nearly ran out. That was divine strategy. Because while others were building resumes and networks, you were building spiritual stamina. You were learning to depend on something greater than yourself. You were being forced to develop clarity, to find strength in the silence, to trust in the unseen. Because the level of abundance you're being prepared for, it's not for the faint of heart. You're not being trained to just receive wealth. You're being trained to carry it, to steward it, to multiply it in ways that impact lives and rewrite destinies. But that level of abundance, it requires a different kind of foundation. Not ego, not hustle, not manipulation. It requires depth, and depth is only built in the dark. So while others were shining on the surface, you were being rooted underneath. And now you're rising. Because all that pain wasn't a sign you were being left behind. It was a setup for your leap forward. You've been sowing in silence, and soon you'll be reaping in overflow. But here's the key. You have to recognize what the struggle made you. You're not a victim of your circumstances. You're the result of divine craftsmanship. Every bill you couldn't pay, every opportunity that slipped away, every moment you thought you lost, those were sacred. They were chiseling you into someone who could walk into abundance and not lose themselves. Because let's be honest, if the success came too soon, it might have crushed you. You might have misused it, wasted it, or used it to validate wounds that were never meant to stay open. But now, you're ready. You've got the wisdom to build, the awareness to discern, the humility to lead, and the resilience to keep going, even when it's hard. That's the real wealth. That's the foundation for overflow. So don't look at your past and see delay. Look at it and see development. Because you're not just stepping into financial freedom, you're stepping into spiritual authority. And once you understand that, there's no going back. Now here's the part most people never reach. The part where everything starts shifting, not because your outer world is different, but because you are. You stop reacting, you stop begging, you stop doubting, and you decide. You decide that the old story ends with you. The scarcity, the fear, the hustle, the imposter syndrome. It dies here. Because now you understand the game. Now you understand the truth. You were never broken. You were just becoming. The empty bank account was a tool. The setbacks were lessons. The loneliness was space being created for something better. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom. You now carry the kind of insight that can't be taught in books or bought in a course. It was earned through every valley you didn't think you'd make it through. And now that you're here, on the edge of everything you were meant for, it's time to activate the final shift. You have to own your identity. You're not just spiritual. You're not just intuitive. You're not just sensitive. You are powerful. You're a channel for divine abundance. And it's time to start acting like it. It's time to stop playing small. Time to stop apologizing for wanting more. Time to stop pretending like you're figuring it out, when deep down, you know you've already been equipped. The struggle didn't break you, it built the vessel. Now it's time to fill it. Because here's the final truth. Abundance doesn't show up when you're ready in your bank account. It shows up when you're ready in your spirit, when your energy matches your destiny, when your beliefs stop contradicting your calling, when you stop waiting for permission to rise and rise anyway. You are not here to scrape by. You are not here to stay stuck in cycles of just enough. You are here to overflow, to impact, to elevate, to lead. And not from ego, but from embodiment. Because when a chosen one finally steps into their full power, they don't just change their life. They change everything around them. Your time is no longer coming. It's here. And if it still feels far away, then that's your next test. To believe harder than ever. To walk like it's already done. To move like the shift is already yours. Because when you believe it at your core, the world has to respond. You're not chasing abundance anymore. You are abundance. And nothing, no system, no person, no force, can stop what's already been written for you.